I just watched Manny the movie, the 2014 documentary that just came out worldwide a couple weeks ago, on November 21st, I think. But it came out uh, right before the Brandon Rios fight, I think, too, but in the Philippines. But it just came out worldwide, and I just watched it. I'll leave the link in the description below of the movie. This was a great film. Just films in general, this was a great film. Even if you're not a boxing fan, this is a great film. But if you are a boxing fan, and if you're a fan of Manny Pacquiao, this is going to be a really good film. And y'all know me, my favorite fighter of all time, Manny Pacquiao. Just as a person, inside and outside the ring, his personality and his heart, and that he's a good person. That's why I like him so much, and that he's a person I look up to, one of the most people I look up to out of anyone. And so this movie, watching this movie, seeing it was a very well done film, narrated by what's his name, Liam Neeson, I think. So it was very well done. And let's just get just the stuff they had in it. The interviews, obviously, with Freddie Roach, Jinky, even Alex Ariza, because the film, it looked like some of the parts of this film were taken from when Ariza was still with them. And when you watch this, you kind of forget about what Ariza did going to the other camps and now signing with Mayweather. You kind of forget about it because I don't know, like, I'm that kind of person where I like giving, like, I always give everyone a chance. And when I'm the kind of guy who feels bad for the bad guy sometimes, like, if he did, like, I don't know, that's just my personality. I'm very, like, even if it's someone bad, I try looking for the good in them. And if they, like, I still feel bad for people, even if they deserve it or anything. Or even like Alex Ariza, even though we know he kind of betrayed them, and just the stuff that he's been doing, especially in recent years, it just didn't seem right. But when you look back at him with Manny Pacquiao, you kind of get a feeling that he did care about Manny Pacquiao. That's what I'm trying to say. So it looked like he actually did genuinely, it did look like he cared about Manny Pacquiao. If you ask me, Alex Ariza did care about him. So that's what I was trying to say. But anyway, yeah. So it started off. I liked how the movie started off too. It started off with the Marquez 4 fight, when Pacquiao lost that fight, and I liked how they started that. That was very well done, and then it went back to starting where he started from, and he's like where he came from. He was very poor. He started off, we all know, selling donuts, and I liked how it had a lot of good film in film clips in this film, because, like, what I mean is, like, when they had like old footage of stuff, and they had Manny Pacquiao's uncle showing his first pair of gloves when he started boxing when he was 12. His first trainer was Manny Pacquiao's uncle, and yeah, I liked. It's just, and they show where Manny Pacquiao's house used to be in the jungle. Coconut trees are now in that same spot where his house used to be, and then they go through his fights in the Philippines. Him, how he left his family. He left his mom, didn't tell her, and left to Manila to fight. And he would fight for, literally, he was fighting for $2 a fight, and it wasn't gonna cut it. But I liked how he's saying how he said he was fighting and he kept on winning. Monday he would fight every day of the week. Monday he would win. Tuesday he would win. Wednesday he would win. Thursday he would fight for the bronze medal. Friday he would fight for the silver medal. Saturday he'd fight for the gold, and he won every single fight. and then he finally was starting to run out of competition, so he went and he wanted to go on to bigger things, to go to the U.S. And that's when he, on 2 weeks' notice, no one wanted to fight the South African, what's his name? Wasn't Lucerio, was it? Or, no, not Lucerio, it was, I'm forgetting his name right now, the South African, Lebwaba, I think, yeah. Not Lucerio, Lebwaba. So no one wanted to fight him. The top 5 contenders did not want to fight Lebwaba on 5 months' notice. And so Manny Pacquiao was ranked actually number 6, and he stepped up and he beat Lebwaba by knockout. And the odds were apparently like 46-1 or something. So that just shows you like the underdog he was. And yeah, so let's just go back to okay, yeah, it was Lebwaba. I was just making sure. I thought I got mixed up. Sometimes I get mixed up with Lucerio and Lebwaba. Yeah, Lucerio is the Mexican guy, but and then it showed him like he showed what kind of fighter he was, and then showed him going up the ranks, beating Marco Antonio Barrera. And when he lost Eric Morales, Freddie Roach said, "This isn't good. I shouldn't be satisfied with what I have in his left hand. I should work his right hand." So Freddie Roach trained Manny Pacquiao's right hand to be just as good as his left hand. And then we all know the second outcome of the Eric Morales 2 fight. And after that, Manny Pacquiao pretty much became a complete fighter. And but besides the boxing stuff, even just the life story and everything is what made this movie very good. And like I said, it's not just a movie; it's a documentary. It's a real life thing. So it's really inspiration to everyone. Doesn't matter where you. Like everyone in the world, it's inspiration, especially if you're Filipino. It has to be really inspirational. But everyone, everyone, like they said in the movie, they said that one of the Filipino fans of Pacquiao said he kind of made us find our identity, like when he made it the identity of the Filipino people worldwide with his just his heart, and that he's a fighter. He made the Filipinos' identity known, and you could say that he pretty much said that Filipinos said he made me find my identity. So you could pretty much say everyone around the world maybe found their identity from Manny Pacquiao. So a lot of people did, not just Filipino people, but everyone. And yeah, so it's very good. It was a very good film. And what do you call it? I'm trying to think of other parts. Oh yeah, the part where he said he had a dream after the Marquez 3 fight. To be honest, I thought, in my opinion, that was Pacquiao's worst performance, the Marquez 3 fight, but you know why? He was having problems with Jinky. Jinky did not sleep in the same bed that night with him, and she was nowhere to be found in the hotel room or anywhere in the hotel. And he says, we can't leave without Jinky. So he wasn't right that night. It showed the clip they showed Freddie Roach putting hand wrap on Manny Pacquiao's hands. Manny Pacquiao just looked too serious. He didn't look like his mind was there. And Freddie Roach was shaking more than usual, and probably Freddie Roach was uneasy because Pacquiao was uneasy, and it showed in the fight. So really, that explains that performance. But then he said after that fight, he had a dream. He said, and the dream was he was in the jungle, and then he saw a light, and he said he heard God saying, why have you forgotten me, or why, something like, he said something like, son, why have you like pretty much you're not following me that much anymore. Why have you forgotten me? That kind of stuff. I forget the exact words, but and then yeah. So he said he was just gonna go. I remember he said he was just gonna go maybe one more fight. And then Bob Arum said 3 fights maybe after the Bradley fight, and it's actually already been 3 fights after the Bradley fight. But it seems Manny Pacquiao has finally maybe found himself again, and no, found he's still learning who he is, but he's finding out his purpose, and he's it seems like each day, like especially now, it seems like he's very happy, and I think that's contributing to why he's still fighting, because he's happy, and it shows in his performances. It seems like he's finally found himself, and he's happy. His wife's happy, and we've seen it in the training camp for Chris Algieri. So even before that, the Timothy Bradley 2 fight, he looked like he was getting happier. So and then I liked the part when he's giving the speech to the people, the prayer preaching speech, and he was saying how he used to be tempted by the devil before, and he couldn't resist it very well, and every time the sexy ladies would pass him, he would really look at them. But he found out, though, that now that he's found more peace with himself and God, he's blind to the sexy girls now, and he only looks at the sexiest girl, his wife. So I thought that was funny, and it was good. I'm probably gonna leave out some parts out of, but it was very inspirational. The what do you call it? The end part was probably really good. Just how they did that part. They ended with the Marquez 4 fight too. This film actually, it reminds me of one of my favorite films, actually, comparison. It's actually, they did it the same way as a Jet Li film, to be honest. If you watch the movie Jet Li's Fearless, it starts off with the ending scene, and it ends with the ending scene. And that's the way they did this kind of thing. And so they showed the Pacquiao getting hit by the right hand of Marquez, and his life flashing his life flashing before him, and it was just, yeah, it was really, like, that was really inspirational, and they're showing all the Filipino people watching that when he lost like that, and just you saw the shock in their eyes. And you saw the pain they were feeling, the sadness when Manny Pacquiao got dropped by Marquez. Just even, like, it didn't matter. Young people, old people, they all just a look on their face. And, yeah, like, that was kind of sad, like, watching that, like, seeing their faces. I think that was the most saddest part of the film, watching the Filipino people's faces when Manny Pacquiao lost that night to Marquez. But that was the saddest part. But Manny Pacquiao's personality is, he's a fighter. He says, "Why do I fight?" Because he fights because he's a fighter, and it doesn't matter what arena he's in, he'll always be a fighter. And when you get knocked down, you get back up no matter what. Even if you think you're gonna lose, you still try, and you never lose unless you give up. So, like, even if you do whatever you're in, if it's whatever thing in life, like boxing, even though he lost, if you lose a boxing match, if mentally and in your mind you never gave up and you always tried your best, then you didn't really lose. Like, until you actually say to yourself you give up, then you lose. But if you never give up, then you never lose. And that's what Pacquiao represents. That's the kind of thing when something, like, sometimes you feel bad at certain things, but he looks at it and he says, "Don't be sad, be happy," and he shrugs off that stuff. and then it makes you shrug it off. It makes you feel happy. Like, for instance, the Marquez knockout. Like, I felt terrible for weeks after that fight, but the way he handles it, it makes you handle it better. It makes you actually not feel so bad when he shrugs it off, because like he said, it is just boxing and you just got to get up and keep on going. So great film. Watch the movie. You got to see it. And Manny Pacquiao, the greatest fighter that's ever lived. And I'm not talking about just about skills, but just good. Like, he's just a good person, and that's his heart is what makes him, what separates him from the others.